Hello and welcome to the John Bell and Croyden podcast with your host Alex Johnston. Pharmacy pioneers since 1798, John Bell and Croyden will boost your health and well-being by bringing you fresh, regular content and interviews with fascinating guests. Welcome back to the John Bell and Croyden podcast. I'm joined today by Dina El Adlani, the founder of Espérer Skincare, which is the first psychodermatological skincare of its kind. So welcome, Dina.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Always very welcome. So psychodermatological skincare, not easy to say, but you're the first of its kind. You trademarked the actual term.
Mm-hmm.
So tell us how you came to, what led you to create this wonderful new brand?
It's been quite a long journey. It did start off while I was actually studying psychology, and I at the same time was freelancing as a makeup artist. So I met a lot of clients speaking about insecurities, and I was just always really intrigued in how we view ourselves and our perceptions of uh, ourselves and our appearance and how it affects our mental health. So I got really into sort of botanics and skincare from then on, and then just linked it to my studies. And I started my research into different plants, how they affect our skin. I came across psychodermatology, which is the study of it basically combines psychology and dermatology together, and it studies the connection between the brain and the skin. Um, because there is an intrinsic connection from birth. It starts from it's 21 days in the embryo. So that's when the actual connection begins. So anything that affects you mentally will then be seen on your skin, so to speak. So
it's the age-old adage that people look. If you don't look well, that's probably because you aren't.
yeah, exactly. And I did notice that, obviously in the beauty industry it is, unfortunately, a majority of the time it is all about appearance. And I noticed that we're not really focusing too much on the mental health side of things. And yeah, we focus on wellness, but it seems to be a little bit too surface. And I wanted it to be a little bit deeper than that, to really go into the nervous system, really consider what we are putting into our skin. I did research into endocrine disruptors and different types of skincare that can actually disrupt your hormones, and I wanted to steer clear of that and then find a natural alternative and find plants and extracts that actually, they go into your system, they release neurotransmitters, or they promote the release of neurotransmitters. So therefore, we're tackling health and beauty from two different angles.
Amazing. So how long ago did you start this journey?
2010 is when I actually started the research, but because it was quite expensive to fund the research, it took a little while to, gather the data and to be sure, because I knew this was going to be it's something that was really important to me, especially because I was going through my own sort of mental health issues at the time, my own anxieties, my own self-esteem kind of concerns, as most of us do. So it became a passion, and I knew I wanted to do things properly, so I didn't want to rush it. So it started very, very early, and then I went on 2019 to finally buy the name, actually set up the company itself. So it's been a while.
So the way you've chosen the ingredients for your skincare then has been very methodical. So you're saying you did the research into the benefits of various different botanicals on the skin and on the mental state. But where, for other people looking to, investigate this kind of thing, where do you start in terms of linking a botanical to sort of state of mind?
I mean, it's all based on the research that I did. So it was, for example, choosing different extracts that when you apply it to the skin, you test. Well, firstly, there was sort of like the more superficial test. So it was, how does the participant feel once they have put a particular extract on their skin, or the formula that I created? How do they feel in 2 days' time, 3 days' time, in a week's time? So there was that aspect of things. And then there was the more clinical trials, which was heart rate, for example. Once you've spritz something on, or you put something on, the difference in heart rate between before and after. So there was a lot of trial and error in trying to get the exact ones. And then there's also previous studies to show that there are different botanicals that actually do influence your stress levels, your cortisol. So I gathered a lot of data from, previous research that was more along the lines of sort of holistic and aromatherapy. And I used that research to then produce my own clinical trials and go deeper into skin and more sort of like the dermatological side of things.
Was there a moment along the way where you had a bit of a eureka moment where you were like, wow, that's in any particular ingredient or a botanical where the response from the participant was unexpected or surprising?
Yeah, it was actually the when I did the anxiety tests and to see that there was a drop in anxiety like 2 weeks after the person has then or who was participating, to see that there was a drop in the anxiety levels. To me, that was, that was the most exciting part because I was just like, yes.
I cracked it.
Yeah, I never wanted it to be a substitute for medication because I don't believe that, I don't believe skincare. I think skincare is an aid and like it helps maintenance, for your whole, I suppose, your week and things like that, but not as a substitute for mental health treatments, but as something to just sort of help you along. Because I thought if you're going to choose skincare, it's best to choose skincare that benefits both your mind and skin. That would be an option I would choose. So I thought it would be best that way. But yeah, I think the anxiety thing really, that was really exciting for me, especially because I suffered from anxiety. So it was just like, yeah, this was great.
It's a breakthrough moment.
Yeah,
So going back to what you said just a moment ago, with mental health, though, I mean, I'm not a psychologist, but if prevention is often better than a cure in most
absolutely.
medicine.
Yeah.
So with your skincare line, people are choosing to actually invest in their mental health because you know that the ingredients you so carefully chosen are going to have a positive impact on their mental state. So if is it people who are prone to more episodes, I suppose, with or more have more battle with their mental health, choosing something, I mean, be it skincare, be it anything with that particular ingredient in, that's going to benefit them longer term to keep their mental state healthy.
Yeah. I mean, we all suffer with mental health concerns like at one point in our life. It's not really exclusive to any one person, or some people do have more serious conditions than others. But for example, anxiety, depression, we tend to at some point experience the symptoms of it at least. So when I sort of created this line, it wasn't I don't like to say cure when it comes to any mental health condition, but it wasn't essentially to cure a condition. It was, like you said, to prevent the symptoms, to help. It was more to help or aid along the way.
But this is to take mental health in the same way we take physical health, isn't it? That
Yeah,
we all get
yeah,
colds occasionally, we all have
yeah,
upsides and downsides. There is no difference. Your mental health and your physical health are one and the same. It's I think with mental health, people tend to pigeonhole it into being this terrible,
yeah,
schizophrenia or some of the more
yeah,
um, sort of what's the word I'm looking for serious
yeah.
mental health
Serious,
issues. But
yeah,
then that's like saying when we talk about physical health, we're only talking about people suffering from cancer.
yeah.
That's an
Absolutely,
extreme version. So
absolutely.
it's about obviously at John Manning Croyden we're about 360-degree holistic health, but this is the first time we've encountered a brand who've decided to look at physical health, beauty, and mental health in the same sort of breath, which I think is very refreshing and also very exciting because it's another step towards that holistic view that we're looking at our bodies as a whole working machine rather than in isolation of, oh, my arm's broken, I should fix it, rather than
Yeah,
if my muscular skeletal strength was better, it may not have broken in the first place. And I think that is truly exciting. And it's just hearing you talk about it. It's very inspiring, and I think that anyone else listening to will find the same feelings from it. But I know you obviously,
yeah.
so so I know a lot more about your brand and what's going on. But one thing I'm interested to share is your I know you're meticulous, Dina, but your ingredients, where you've sourced them from, you have traveled the world looking for these ingredients.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, I try to sometimes I'm a bit can you be too meticulous? I feel
I think
like
you
I
can.
am. I feel like I can. Yeah, I try to link everything together. It's not always a good thing, I guess. It makes my job a lot harder than it should be. But yeah, I went to, I've sort of settled for, I don't like to say settled, but I've chosen Morocco and France because the, I mean, the botanicals there are incredible. They have, the agriculture is unbelievable. So, and also um, it helps the communities there. So I try to do a lot of research to find like suppliers that help women and that employ women and sort of help the locals, but also the harvest itself and the quality of the ingredients are incredible. So I did do a lot of research on that, and no, it's close to home as well. I am Moroccan, so it was very close to home, and it meant a lot to actually give back and be able to really get to know even the herbalists there. I've worked with a lot of herbalists that know plants inside out, and it's been really nice.
But you've literally visited
Yeah,
fields where
absolutely.
your
Yeah.
botanicals are being grown.
Yeah, fields, factories, I've met a lot of suppliers. I tend to work with, I don't like the, not that I don't, I sound mean. Not that I don't like the big suppliers. I do, but I try to find small suppliers that I feel like they put a lot of quality into the work, plus they help a lot of people. So it doesn't sort of just go on a conveyor belt, if that makes sense.
So is it safe to say that by creating the first psychodermatological skincare range, you've actually gone on a bit of a mental health journey yourself in terms of discovering your passion? And you talk about, I see a soothing glaze come over your eyes when you talk about how you've sourced your ingredients and the passion you feel behind the brand. Has it been a tough journey, or I mean, have you enjoyed it?
I love the journey, but I won't lie. I have cried. I have eaten junk food. I have given up on many days. It's been a tough journey. I've loved the journey. I've met absolutely incredible people. Obviously, you are one of them.
Oh.
I've met amazing people. I've met, people that have taught me things about myself. And obviously, we all grow and find out things about ourselves. But it's been great. But there's been some tough times when you're just, you just feel in a business, you always kind of sometimes feel lonely. So, especially when you start to doubt yourself, and then a lot happens along the way and you get stressed out, and then you have to, well, I opt for my skincare every time I'm stressed out. I go straight to my oil to milk cleanser. Cleanse my stress away. But yeah, no, it's been tough, but it's been really rewarding. I, I don't think I'd ever not do this again. I would 100% repeat it.
So tell us a bit more about your collection then. You've got how many SKUs within your line?
I've got 10.
10.
I've broken it down into 3 separate collections because I wanted the collections to sort of reflect the concern and the mood that people would want to achieve. So, for example, I've got the Uplift collection, the Calm, and the Relax. So, I wanted Calm is more for, I would say, I personally would use it more for if I feel anxious. Gives me a sense of calm. So, the moisturize is very calming. The facial mist, the hydrating facial mist is very calming. So all of these promote the release of serotonin. So then they reduce cortisol. And so I thought, okay, so, and they also hydrate. So I kind of broken it down into emotion and physical attribute, if that makes sense. And
Yes.
then the Uplift collection, obviously, is just more uplifted. It boosts dopamine. It brightens the skin. So, and then obviously my favorite one actually is the Relax collection, which is just, it helps. And that's even in my studies, it helps with sleep. And that's something I really struggle with. So it relaxes you, releases endorphins. Um, when we're fatigued, our skin looks fatigued. So I wanted to make sure that the collection supports sort of clearer skin, softens the skin. So yeah, I guess it's my favorite one because I need to sleep.
Have you got a hero product within the range that you're most proud of or your go-to?
Yeah, I would say, I don't know if you agree because I know you like the serum, but I would say the moisturizer. I
That'd be a
I
close second for me.
Yeah, I really like the moisturizer. I use it every day just because I like a nice glow, but it also feels different from any other moisturizer I would have used in the past. Um, it just feels nice and creamy, but I don't feel like it's overpowering.
I'd call it a whipped texture.
Yeah, definitely,
But you said when I
definitely.
first met you, and just for context,
Mm.
Dina and I met through the CEW, which is an industry body who looks after emerging skincare brands in the UK. Actually, in the last series, we interviewed Sally Berkery from the CEW. So,
Oh.
it's very circular here. Um, I remember when I first met you, we talked about texture within your products because that's a big part of people's ritualistic need for routine, and that also feeds into people's sort of mental wellness. But that's one thing I do enjoy about your products is the serum. I mean, to be fair, you are the founder, so I will take it as read that you're allowed to choose a favorite product, but you're wrong. The serum is the
You choose.
best product, closely followed by the moisturizer. But I just think with the serum, you do feel uplifted. And again, with the moisturizer, the whipped texture, it has a comfort in its use that is soothing. And I mean, I really enjoy your oils, but those two products and your mask, I love your mask. That is delightful.
Yeah.
I like the brush it comes with. I like the color it makes my face go. But that's a very, not only is it effective, but you do feel those 10 to 15 minutes just sat there, feeling it drying on your skin is, soothing and a moment to yourself, which is lovely. But I still think I find the textures really interesting and a big part of what I think makes the range sort of approachable. If you see what I mean.
Yeah, no, it makes sense. I mean, obviously, our senses are really important, and feel is a big part of, the way we feel things does play into our mental health as well. So it's important to have things that, feel good, they feel nice, and like you said, you take a moment to yourself. We don't in this sort of like go 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 lifestyle that we have, we don't always take a real moment. Skincare has become a chore where it shouldn't be.
Mm.
It
No,
should
that's
be a
true.
moment to actually indulge, to have some time to yourself instead of, you're just going to quickly scrub your face because you have to. Yeah.
No,
So,
that's true. And skincare is a pleasure when you allow it to be, and when it's a nice routine, one that you're used to. And it's funny because when you try, I find there's like 3 points in skincare when you're trying a new line. Get it home, really excited, want to try it. Then there's like that bit where you're still testing out the routine to find out how many pumps, how much you want to put on your finger, um, you know, what works for you. Then there's stage 3 where you're used to it and you look forward to it because it's just that moment of like, oh, I'm nice and clean. I'm getting ready for bed. I always use your moisturizer at night because I like the smell and I find it very calming when you're getting ready to go to sleep. So it's no, it's I think texture and routine and all of that is such a massive part of why skincare and beauty is such a growing industry in this country, where people are really embracing the fact that self-care is essential. And I think skincare is a really simple way to start that journey of actually really looking after yourself, because at the end of the day, if you don't care for yourself, no one else can really fix you from within. You've got to kind of take some responsibility. So as a young founder of a new skincare line, what
I
advice would
like
you
the word
give?
young.
Younger than me. I won't reveal my age. As a very, very young founder of a new skincare line, what advice would you give anyone attempting such a feat? I mean, you're 14 years in now to your Espérer Skincare journey. So, what would your top 5 tips? Right on the spot. Do it.
For someone who wants to,
Well, if someone's interested in starting a brand, if someone has an interest in getting into beauty in that way, and what's your top
five
5 tips?
tips, research. Um, I That's it's a difficult one, because the one thing I could go back, I'd say to myself, save your money first. Um, yeah, so I would say definitely have some sort of capital. Do your research. Connections is really important. Go out there, go to the events, meet people. I feel like I've probably only gotten to the stage that I am because of the fact that I've met wonderful people. And then I think we don't realize how much people are willing to help as well. We think everything's a competition. It's not. There are people that are willing to help, and will get to know you, and they'll love your idea. So, okay, how much have I have now? 3.
3.
Right.
Two more.
2
Two
more.
more.
Let me think. Um, don't listen to the negative voice in your head. Also, the negative voices outside of your head.
What's coming from other people?
Exactly. Because not everyone's going to see your dream at first. We tend, as people, we tend to be slightly negative about things that we are not we can't see them, they're not tangible, so we don't tend to believe in them. But you believe in your own dream, you believe in what you're doing, go for it. And then lastly, I'm not really good
Gets
at giving
Dr. John
advice.
Bell and Croyden.
Absolutely, yeah. That's the last one.
That's the
Get to
winner.
John Bell and Croyden. Yeah, do you know what? The last one, choose who you work with wisely. See, that's the one thing I've sort of stood by. I've been very particular about where I want my brand to be represented, only because I feel like it's important to work with ethical companies, companies that represent your morals and the way. Yeah, so essentially everything will represent you and your brand. So I think the last one would be definitely choose an ethical company like John Bell and Croydon.
And what's next for Espérer Skincare in the future then? What's your big plans? World domination?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
I think it's just more. So my plan is to go to UAE and then Europe, US, and yeah, I definitely have some more products in mind that I want to release, especially a sunscreen. I do want to have a good sunscreen.
SPF is the
Yeah,
hardest part of a skincare
that's
collection.
exactly. It's really difficult, and my sort of job is even more difficult because now I have to, it's always harder to find something that works for both your mental health and your skin. So, it's twice as hard. But yeah, that's my plan.
Wonderful. Well, thank you for coming in today. It's
Thank
been lovely to
you.
talk to you.
It's been amazing.
And that was Dina El Adlani for Espérer Skincare. Thanks for coming in again, and we'll talk soon.
Thank you. Bye.